Welcome back to Lorna Páirce hurling in the ears here on WLR, with thanks to PwC Waterford. Well, last weekend, Waterford GA mourned the loss of 1959 All-Ireland winner and Ballydurn clubman Joe Harney. Joe was cornerback on the Dacia team that brought back the Liam McCarthy Cup for the second time after defeating Kilkenny in a replay. Well, in 2009, our late colleague here on WLR, Kevin Casey, produced a documentary that celebrated that 59 team. And here's a flavour of that documentary, starting with the Munster final against Cork, when Joe Harney held Christy Ring scoreless.
On the morning of the Munster final, the supporters were pouring into Liberty Square as the crowds began queuing outside Thurles from as early as 10 o'clock. By noon, an estimated 10,000 were already in their seats. However, one man who was ill at ease that morning was Joe Harney. The Ballydurn defender had plenty occupying his mind on the journey to the game.
You know, I was only breaking in at that time, into the team. Before the Cork game, I was going up in the car and my leg was giving me trouble. I had to take off the shoe going up in the car. I didn't say to anybody in the car. It was a very hot day, and when we met the Cork traffic, we were only barely crawling into Thurles. So I was inside having the cup of tea anyway, and I was tossing in my head, now will I play or won't I play? Because the leg was fairly sore. I was marking ring, and I said, if I cry off now, they'll say I was afraid of him. So I decided I played, and I said it to nobody. I paid for it that following week. I was at home for about 3 days in terrible pain, and you wouldn't go to a doctor in them times. William Lennon lost in Western, he was our secretary, and he came up to see me. And he see me, I was only on one leg. About 2 hours after, he arrived back, and he said, I have an appointment, he said, with Dr. O'Driscoll for tomorrow at 2 o'clock, so I'll bring you in. Dr. O'Driscoll, he wanted to keep me in hospital, and I wouldn't stay. He put a plaster on me, 2 crutches, and come back, he said, in 6 weeks. So 6 weeks, was almost the All-Ireland. I had badly torn ligaments, he told me. I cut it off myself on the 15th of August.
Joe Harney would go on to produce a super display that day, keeping a tight rein on Christy Ring. Mick Flannelly and Tom Cunningham replaced Charlie Ware and Donald Duck-Whelan in attack for the All-Ireland replay on October 4th. Waterford lined out with Ned Power in goals, a full backline of Joe Harney, Austin Flynn and John Byrne. The half-back trio were Mick Lacey, Martin O'Morrissey and Jackie Condon. In midfield, the all-Mount Sion pairing of Seamus Power and Philly Grimes. In the half-forwards, it was Mick Flannelly, Tom Chasty and captain Frankie Welch. And the inside trio was Larry Guinan, Tom Cunningham and John Kiley. For Kilkenny, their starting 15 saw the legendary Ollie Walsh in goals, a full backline of Tom Walsh, Jim the Link Walsh and John Maher. The future GA president, Paddy Buggy, lined out at right half-back alongside Mick Brophy and Johnny McGovern. In midfield, it was Paddy Kelly and Mickey Walsh. Dennis Heaslip, Mick Fleming and captain Sean Clohessy made up the half-forward line, while the inside trio of Dick Carroll, Willie Dwyer and Tommy O'Connell would need closer watching if Waterford were to prevail this time out.
Coming in from Malahide, and the crowd we all started to sing. It was the 4th of October, and it was the most beautiful day. The sun was splitting the stones, wonderful now. Remember, Chasey was in it, John Kiley was in the car. We were all singing away like Fairhill. You know, they were in the mood. They had the confidence to see they knew that they had them beaten the first day, you know.
Terry Dalton reminiscing on the trip heading into Croke Park. As an expectant crowd of over 77,000, which remains a record for an All-Ireland final replay, anticipated another classic between the two southeastern rivals. If Waterford were to deny Kilkenny a 15th All-Ireland title, they'd need to stop their forwards going on another goal-scoring spree. Joe Harney had another month to get his leg right, and the cornerback felt the defence would curb Kilkenny's inside threat this time round.
The first day, I didn't play well now. I wasn't fit enough to play well, and I could have been a doubt for the replay. The defence was poor that day. Father Maher was their trainer at the time, and they'd know how to handle the fellas, and if you're not fit, you can't follow the man, I remember that day the man used to go out along, and he'd come back and out and back. I don't know whether he knew that I was in plaster for so long or not, I don't know.
Waterford though got off to a disastrous start as Dennis Heaslip slammed to the net from close range to help Kilkenny build up a 1-4 to 1 point lead inside the opening 10 minutes. Ollie Welch had put in an outstanding hour's work in the drawn match and saved brilliantly from Larry Guinan as Waterford tried for a goal to keep in touch. That goal came soon afterwards as Mick Flannelly rifled to the net. A proud moment for the Mount Sion man.
Oh, you got a beauty. a left hand. I hit it left-handed. I got a good goal. It was a good goal, but it was the work up to it put me in the position to have the shot, you know. I didn't beat 6 or 7 players to get a goal. The ball came up the whole field, you know, and it was being moved around. There was no fella trying to beat 2 or 3 men. The ball just kept moving, you know. And that's the only way you beat backs, is to keep the ball moving.
Mick Flannelly's goal helping Waterford get a grip on the game, and by the 20th minute mark they had their second goal as Tom Chasty got a touch to Seamus Power's 70. Seamus remembers Chasty was at the heart of everything that day for Waterford.
Tom, God be merciful to him, yes, Tom was our linchpin that day, and he was the centre of every attack we made. He's a particular brand holder, he was a courageous man, strong as an ox, God be merciful to him. He certainly gave the Kilkenny backs considerable worry and torment.
Chasty was rampant in that 15-minute spell before the break, as he delivered another blow to Kilkenny's challenge as he netted again after following up with a rebound after Ollie Walsh had saved his initial effort. Larry Guinan says on his day, the Ballyduff man was a handful for any defence.
Chasty got 2 goals, I think it was, the same day, but he was a tourist, thanked, and the way he took stick was unreal, and often after a game the bruises on that man's body, you know, were unreal. Chasty, he never complained. He could draw the 2 or 3 players and distribute the ball then to the wingers as such, you know, and he was great at that. Of course, his old swerve and such, he'd a mind of Muhammad Ali as such.
Tom Chasty's 2 goals along with Mick Flannelly's strike helped Waterford overcome that slow start to the game as the Daisha led 3-5 to 1-8 at half-time. Waterford had the bit between their teeth now, and only fear of losing stood between them and finally putting the Kilkenny bogey to bed. Pat Fanning had little doubt that Waterford would close out the game in the second half.
This was a different Waterford team. This was a steely Waterford team. This was a team of, if I may say so, intelligent men with a great regard for themselves and a true appreciation of their own qualities. They came out the second day a more complete team because of experience, and not a thought, even in their innermost selves, I would say, that this could end other than in victory. That was the day of days. They were superb. And those All-Irelands with Kilkenny, they rank with the best of the era.
The then minor star Eddie Kerr pointed twice, but Kilkenny's corner forwards Dick Carroll and Tommy O'Connell made no such impact as they had in the drawn game due to the shackles of Joe Harney and John Byrne. Mick Flannelly remembers his teammate, the late John Byrne, as a great defender to play alongside.
John Byrne was a great hurler. John Byrne, apart from being a good defender, he was a very clever forward. He played in the forward line quite a bit, you know, and a very skillful hurler altogether. He was De La Salle's only, and I'm sure still is De La Salle's only All-Ireland winner. A real nature's gentleman, great hurler, great head, and very shy.
Fittingly, with the hour almost up, Captain Frankie Welch, with his 8th point of the game, had the final say in the 1959 All-Ireland replay.
Philly Grimes gone back for it, and Philly, with a wonderfully high, long clearance, gets the ball up for it, and up to Tom Chasty. Chasty is tackled, but he sidesteps the tackle. He's going right through. He's tackled again. He passes the ball into Frank Walsh. Walsh gets it into his hand and sends it into the goal mouth and high over the bar for a point for Waterford, scored by Frankie Walsh.
Frankie Welch climbed the steps of the Hogan stand to receive the McCarthy Cup and credits the team's defence for their part in helping Waterford finally overcome Kilkenny in an All-Ireland decider.
We confined Kilkenny to 2 points in the second half, and that's a fair achievement. It was a magnificent thing for Waterford, and it's a great pleasure for myself and a very privileged individual for all the great players I played with.
Thousands came out to the city to welcome home Waterford's heroes on the 5th of October in 1959. Perhaps the man who best captures the mood of the homecoming is the man who pledged Waterford would achieve All-Ireland glory just a few years earlier. County chairman of the time, and later to go on to be president of the GAA, Mount Sion's Pat Fanning.
A magical scene, entering into Waterford. The people were packed into Sally Park and all the way across the bridge and down the thing. It was an eruption, an indication of what an All-Ireland win means to a hurling county. And mark you, Waterford is a hurling county, as proud as any of them and as good as any of them. The reception in the City Hall was a terribly emotional thing and very, very significant. and demonstrated the degree to which people were affected and the degree to which a county responded to this effort. Remember, this was repeated time and time and time again in Dungarvan and Cappoquin and Ballyduff and Tallow and in every place in the county as the cup went around, as if a people had refound its spirit and felt they were now entitled to walk in the company of hurling men.
You've been listening to Lorna Páirce Hurling in the Ears here on WLR, with thanks to PwC Waterford. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay home, stay safe, and until next time, Slán go fóill.